Let's call to order Tulsa School District number 22, and I will do the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. Rogers, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'd be honored. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Ferguson, I always seem to miss the silence, so let's give it the silence. Moment of silence. All right, Ms. Ferguson, could you do the treasure hunter?
Yes, sir. I'm as an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe all children are capable of success, no exceptions.
All right. Ms. Roberts, could you give us the roll call?
Yes, sir. Michael Ingrid.
Here.
Pamela Long.
Here.
Dennis Callahan.
Here.
Timothy Cason.
Here.
All present.
Very good. All right. We'll move on to D, the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Very good. All right, we have a motion by Dennis Callahan, a second by T. Cason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Passed. Now we move on to information discussion items. A.
Let's make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Consent agenda. I always do that. Consent agenda.
So moved. I second.
All right, we have a motion by Dennis Callahan to approve the consent agenda, and the second by Timothy Cason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passed. Sorry about that, guys. All right, now we move on. Superintendent Summary number A.
A couple days after our regular board meeting in September, I was notified by the county that there were, they're on the list are about 42 varied districts that were rendered as having uncontested elections. So the elections were canceled for all of those 42 districts, including us. So our open board positions were filled by those that filled out the nomination papers. So Timothy Cason will serve another 2 years. Thank you for that. And the other 3 would be new members coming in January. AIM Science has been waived for this school year, so there's a new science test, and it's for 5th and 8th graders and 11th, which doesn't pertain to us, but it's just going to be a census field test, so they're not going to get a proficiency score, just the percentage of students that are tested. Principal Winsberg and myself, we met with Boys and Girls Club this past week, and they are getting geared up to begin the after-school program and the Friday program, and they'll be using a lottery. They've already been open in different schools in the Casa Grande area, so they have a system to be fair. The $10 annual fee will continue per student for the whole entire year, and that will not be due until January. We are officially on fall break, and then we start our scenario 2 hybrid on October 26th. The TES instructional day begins at 7:30 and ends at 1:50. ACES at 8:30 ends at 2:50. And okay, so we're not changing the amount of time. We're staying at the same amount of time. It's just different start times for the schools to accommodate transportation. So TES had a 40-minute change in their start time, and ACES had a 20-minute change. The instructional plan I do want to take a moment to thank Principal Huffman and Vice Principal Hall. I called the meeting the next morning after our last board meeting last week, and we were able within minutes to figure out staffing, and it was just working together. So I just appreciate that kind of attitude and team work. And a little more than 30% of students at this time have chosen to remain at home. And we're looking at trying to keep a 15-to-1 ratio in the classroom. TDS will be open Monday through Thursday, and ACES will have the AD model. So A days are Mondays and Tuesdays, B days are Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then if a student is not scheduled to be in the class, then they're at home engaged in virtual instruction. And this is different because of the amount of students in order to accommodate physical distancing. I do want to mention there were, I was hearing that there were some teachers that felt like their voice wasn't being heard, that they are concerned about coming back on the 26th. And so I do want to make sure that you understand that I did ask how many, and I have been told that there are none at TES, and then about 4 staff at ACES that have this concern. The pickup school meals will continue, but they will, on Monday, October 26th, they'll only be available for pickup at the school offices, at the school sites. And then Arizona City Fire Department is hosting the community trunk or treat on Halloween, and that will be from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, not 4 to 9. So thank you, Chief Heaton, for that correction. And that's all.
All right. Let's move on to B, Business Manager's Report.
All right, so you can see this month you got your graphs back. So
Yes.
Forecast 5 got our system updated so we could have the graphs for you so you can kind of see where we're at based on prior year and also based on where the projections were. So you can see that we are considerably lower in salaries and benefits at this point in time compared to last year and compared to where we were expected to be. That is primarily due to the fact that we were able to hold off on a little bit of hiring until we went back to full-time school or until we brought kids back on. They are doing that hiring now and have been doing that hiring. So, so those positions will be filled, but we should still fall lower than where we were last year because of those changes. You can see that we have currently $669,130.67 as a budget balance or budget capacity. That number will change considerably when we do a budget revision coming in December. The one thing to note, and I believe I put it in the notes on your agenda, is that the enrollment disability grant will be able to be used to bring some relief to the M&O budget. And that'll lead me to the grant, so I'll mention this first and then I'll go into the rest of the grants. The enrollment stability grant, we just found this out, I believe 2 days ago, that they have changed the way the enrollment stability grant has to be used now. So originally they were telling us, go back to the very beginning, originally they were telling us that they were going to give us this grant to help us with our budget and everything was going to be fine and dandy. Then they gave us the information that no, the enrollment stability grant had to be used only for COVID-related expenses. And that kind of sent all the districts, I think, into panic mode, trying to figure out how we were going to manage this. They just came out with information 2 days ago that they made a change again. Monday. Was it Monday?
Yep.
Okay, Monday. Sorry, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, whatever day that was. Monday. Yeah, it's crazy about what day it is. Monday. That they were now going to make it to where the first $500 that you're first $500 per student that you're funded in the enrollment stability grant must be used for COVID-related expenses. Otherwise, we can use it to help our M&O budget for being losing students, basically. So that will be able to help us in our M&O budget and be able to make it give some relief to the M&O budget. that was one of those big relief points when that came through. As a matter of fact, Denise and Mark were meeting. I barged into their meeting and said, hey, you need to hear this. So we're pleased with that information. Any questions on the budget report? Okay. We'll move over to the grants report. I did include the budget numbers this month for you so you can look through them. Most of them have not been utilized much as of yet, but we will start seeing those budgets tick down as we go through the rest of the year. Important things to note, the School Facilities Board, we did have hazardous material testing completed on both the campus doors project for Toltec Elementary and the roof for buildings C and D. And we're awaiting those results. Once those results are in, we can move on to the next step of getting our bid package put together and then send it out for bid for both of those projects. The Arizona City Elementary School weatherization, we are awaiting a design proposal. I did hear from the architect this morning saying that he's hoping to have me have the proposal to me by tomorrow, so then we can get that approved by the SFB and move forward on that project also. We did have some other small projects through the School Facilities Board. We had a repair to an air conditioner. These aren't listed in here, but a repair to an air conditioner, replacement of an air conditioner, some items like that we had really gone through the schools. With our government grants, the elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund, that's COVID money, we're still working with that. We did get our final quotes in to replace the water fountains and to water fountains with water bottle filling stations. We're hoping beyond hope that we can have those done before the kids get back into school, but there is a considerable backlog on or back order on some of those. So the company that we're utilizing said as soon as they can get some in, they will start on the project. Even if they don't have all of them in and ready to go, they'll get some in as we move forward. Other than that, the rest of that grant is primarily stayed the same. I already mentioned to you about the enrollment stability grant and our entitlement grants. We are still awaiting final approval on one of them, but we have those already ready to go.
Our school safety officers, are they gonna start on the 26th?
They're actually already there. They've already been at both of the schools. Currently, the one at ACES is out for a little while, but he will be back soon. And our officer over here at Toltec, Officer Stenson, is on duty, and they've been on duty now since we started the school year. They've been doing different things. The plan was to get them doing some online instruction with the students also, so they have been reporting to duty since the beginning. So good. Sorry about that. Any other questions?
Good. Okay, so we can move on. Good. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll just have a little bit of information again about the school district bond.
Up for election on November 3rd in the general election. We've made some substantial improvements, but budget constraints, prevent us from going at the rate we'd like to go at. So we do need some student restroom updates. We need our old worn out leaky carpet removed. It'd be more sanitary, just have polished concrete floors. We'd like to start regular education preschool programs at both schools. We'd like to start an alternative program to keep our students enrolled and engaged at school who would otherwise be long-term suspended. We need new student transportation vehicles, so we're not spending so much on repairs for our old buses, and some technology upgrades. I do want to mention that the average annual tax rate associated for homeowners and businesses would be $1.10. So that's that and the bond information packet is attached with more information.
All right. So we move on to D. the governing board self-evaluation.
Excuse me, I did want to say, I intended to say that I am grateful for the city of Eagle and their support. So we'll be attending their council meeting on Monday, and I just appreciate their support of our district.
Right. And I do too, and I'll be there with you. And this is, at least it puts us in the right direction. Step forward. Now I guess we move on to the school board evaluation. It says the board must meet at least annually, not later than October 30th, for the purpose of appraising and functioning the board to evaluate the board's performance. The appraisal plan approved by the board will be developed by the board president working with the superintendent. So we'll just, I think we can just move on from there. And we can move on to what we have here. There's a list of items pertaining to the operation of the governing board on the basis of the annual self-evaluation. This may be carried out in conjunction with the annual evaluation of the superintendent. Now, superintendent will be next, I think, next board meeting. The guide to the categories is advanced self-assessment, readiness, and accreditation for self-school system standard 2. The system operates under the governance and the leadership to promote and support student performance and school effectiveness. The evaluation criteria is from the Arizona School Board Association Board Self-Evaluation. And obviously the rate is, to rate each item, a 4 is very evident, 3 is evident, 2 somewhat evident, and number 1 not observed. And so we'll move on to the number 1, 2.1. The governing board establishes policies to support practices to ensure effectiveness administration and of the system. Now, the board relationship is a 2.1a, board relationship with the community.
Whatever role that is necessary to read through the whole thing.
If you do not wish to, it's out and about. It's there for everybody.
I don't want Nora to have to type it. I think
You know, it is there. Okay, it's out. Very nice, man.
Yes.
No, in that aspect, I'm telling you, that very good. Okay, no, we'll bypass all of that. So let's.
Narva's going back into a cheerleader.
Okay, all right. You know what? And thank you again for being here, Narva, too. But I guess we'll move on. Our self-evaluation, we do have a couple of lower numbers, but nothing below a 2.5, and that's only in one thing. And I do have to bring this up. The board attempts to gain information from the community pertaining to instructional program needs. That is the one thing we're somewhat lacking in. I didn't think we were that low in it, but the rest of the board members did, and so we had to go 2.5. But we shall move on from there, and we shall better ourselves. Do we have a call to the public?
We do not.
Okay, so A calls the public, A calls the public. Move on to action items. All right, first one is K, the 2020 annual finance report.
All right, so you've got the financial report before you. We won't spend too much time on it unless you have specific questions, but if you look there on the very first page, it kind of just gives you the direct summary of total expenditures in the M&O budget of $6,485,563. The classroom site funds, which are Fund 11, 12, and 13 of $391,919, and the unrestricted capital outlay of $490,690. You've had this within your hands at least for the last day or so, so you've had a chance to look over it. Really, we turned out really well in the way of our expenditures and what we've done. The one thing that I do want to point out to you on page 4, I believe it is the capital assets. We have, according to our documentation, we have $5,350,503 worth of land and improvements. $19,640,229 worth of buildings and improvements, $2,731,339 in furniture, equipment, vehicles, and technology, and construction in progress, which is, at the time, was the roofing project over at ACES, and also the C&D roofs, and also the doors. Those are all, because we started expenditures in one school year and it's carrying over to the next school year, those are considered construction in progress. You can't put those into your assets until the construction is completed. So at the end of June, we had $189,173 worth of construction in progress projects that were going, for a total of $28,100,417.
So are all of these land assets and improvements subject to appreciation and depreciation?
Yes. Okay, is there any other questions on the AFR?
I made a motion to approve the financial report.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Dennis Callahan and a second by Timothy Cason. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. All against? Motion passes. We move on to action item B, leave of absence requests.
According to policy, when a employee is they're running out of FMLA, they can request an extension to the leave, and then I would bring it to you for your approval. And that's exactly what this is. This is a paraprofessional at ACES with a newborn baby and is asking for an extended leave without pay until after Christmas vacation.
Got a couple of questions. Okay, so they will no longer be on FMLA because their FMLA is out and it's federal and it is specifically for a certain amount of time. So it's not, so she's not wanting extended FMLA leave, just extended leave, right? So this affects, because FMLA protects your job and protects your health insurance. So if that individual is on the health insurance, because they would be responsible for the full cost of it, which, could make a difference in the decision for the employee. So what are we going to do as a replacement while she's still out on unpaid leave?
I have not spoke with the administration there right now. They just started the last 2 weeks really getting to putting positions into place, but she will be guaranteed a position. So with the policy GCCC, it just says that you can grant a leave for up to 1 year, so we'll just, I understand when you have a newborn and have difficult, plus this is a 4th child, and there's just been some, she just would like to extend that leave, and I understand it can be difficult, so as a mother myself, so.
And is she aware that when she does come back to work, it may not be in the exact paraprofessional area that she was, she would still be a para, but it might be in a different area than what she left.
Yes, especially with an extended leave and school being started and everything going, so she'll have to be flexible.
All right, then. Make a motion.
Oh, okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the extended leave of absence for the employee until January 4th, 2021.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion made by Ms. Pam Long and a second by Dennis Callahan. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Next up, action item C, resignation of district psychologist.
Our district psychologist it has resigned effective October 1st, and she is respectfully requesting that you accept that resignation and that the liquidated damages clause in the amount of $2,000 be waived due to circumstances beyond her control.
Considering the reasons for her resignation, I can totally understand it, and I have no problem waiving the liquidated damages of $2,000. Anyone else?
She's been a longstanding teacher here for a long time. I understand your reasoning. Anyone else have any questions?
No, I've been apprised of what was happening, I agree.
Okay, that being the case, I would like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Tracy Cox and waive the liquidated damages in contracts in the amount of $2,000.
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Pam Long and a second by Tim Cason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. We move on to one of the most important things. Find out when everybody can make the meeting. So closing the meeting, I cannot attend on Veterans Day. Being a veteran, I have other things that I'm doing on that day. And so I'm not sure, as we did today, we could move to Thursday if anybody else agrees with that, or does anybody else have a problem with
The 12th would be perfect for me.
Well,
Yeah,
it's fine with me.
yeah, that's, well, I'm good, so thank you, John, and ma'am. Because I do need that.
Everybody good with the 12th?
Yeah, 12, all right.
Yep.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Okay,
I second.
second, okay, so we have a motion of adjournment. Mr. Callahan, a second by Tim Cason, and all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I forgot, anybody else not wanting? Okay. Thank you.
Don't run out of here.